What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about 3 tips and 2 drills that will improve your accuracy as a quarterback instantly. So, tip number 1, you guys, is going to be leaving your front shoulder slightly open in your throwing stance as a quarterback. Now, this is kind of, I guess you could say, against the grain. A lot of older school quarterbacks, what do they teach? They say, hey, you want to have the back of your shoulder to the target, you want the football to not to be in the center of your chest, you want it over here on your right pec. That is actually going to hurt your accuracy more than it's going to help your accuracy. Let me explain. So as a quarterback, guys, what we want to shoot for as a quarterback is we want to shoot for my hips being able to do the rotation and my upper body stays quiet, because your upper body affects your release point. I'm going somewhere with this. So a lot of quarterbacks, the habit that they have is that when they throw, if I'm throwing straight to this camera right here, my left shoulder will over rotate and swing here, and I'll finish like this to my target. But what happens is when your left shoulder goes this way, you got to pretend there are like strings attached to your hands as a quarterback. So when your strings go this way, your arm's going to widen and you have this like across your body motion, and that's why a lot of quarterbacks will miss left to right. Another issue that QBs have is that their front arm dips down, pushes their release high, so they let it go high or let it go too low. So that is caused by you loading your front shoulder too much, because as a QB, I need to make sure that I'm rotating with something. And that something is our hips. But our hips need to rotate through before my shoulders do, very, very similar to a baseball swing. So let's talk about a baseball swing for a second, then I'll break it down as a quarterback. I'm in the batter's box, right? I'm here, I'm loaded with my bat. Pitcher throws me a pitch. This has to do with power, but it helps with accuracy. Just give me a second. So pitcher throws a pitch, I step to the pitcher. Bat stays back, weight stays back, and then what fires through? My hips. Hips fire through, bat trails behind, bam, coming off, right? Same thing as a quarterback. When I'm in my throwing stance, what I want to do is I want to stride to the target, right? And I want my shoulders to rotate back. Now what happens? Hips go through, brings the arm through, but when my rotation only comes from my hips, my shoulders don't have to do the work. The reason why quarterbacks have this issue is because they're not using their hips properly, or their front side is not closing properly. So here's the issue, you guys. When QBs line up like this, here, you can't rotate back any more than that. Your front shoulder has already closed. You can't get to dissociation, which is stride and shoulders go back. So if they're already loaded back, the only option you have is to open up. And when this shoulder opens up same time as you stride, what happens is that you're going to have an over rotation. You're going to try to rotate with your hips, but because your shoulders are opening too fast, your shoulder's going to go this way, your hips are going to go this way, and that makes your arm fly, you guys. So by opening up your front shoulder and focusing on closing the shoulder, you still want to close that shoulder, but it needs to happen on the stride, not pre-stride. So if you're already open like this, you stride, shoulders go back. Okay, cool. Now my hips rotate through and my shoulders can stay parallel to the target. Elbow doesn't drop. Just stay nice and still. Head stays still. And guess what? My release isn't going to be wide. It's not going to be high. It's going to be inside my frame, and I can just flick my wrist and extend. So that's the first key to accuracy as a quarterback. You can't overclose your front shoulder before your front stride. Now, tip number 2, fellas, is going to be driving the ball at the wide receiver's upfield number. Now, before we get into that, fellas, if you guys notice, we have our new quarterback 1 or QB1 merchandise on, and our new alternate First Down Training logo hat on. Tomorrow we are doing a brand new merch drop, so we're going to be posting a link on our YouTube video that we are posting on Thursday, you guys, with a ton of brand new merch, all for quarterbacks, wide receivers, any position. We're going to have different colors. We're going to have white. We got quarterback towels that we're coming out with that are only like $9, you guys, so super affordable for you and super high quality, because we are partnering with Adidas on our merchandise. So guys, tomorrow, all of our merch is super affordable because we know our audience. We know you guys are younger. We know you guys are in high school, whatever age that you are. So it's very, very cheap, but very, very high quality. So we're wearing the QB1 merchandise today. We have shorts, we have hoodies, all with this logo. We have alternate First Down Training logos. So guys, we'd love to get you in our merchandise. So tomorrow, we are dropping it at probably 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But tomorrow in our YouTube video, there will be a link, and that's where you guys can get our merch. It will only be available, fellas, for 2 weeks. So we're closing. It's a limited time only offer, and we're partnering again with Adidas, so it's all high quality stuff. So again, guys, tomorrow, make sure you're looking out for that merchandise drop. We'd love to get you in our new merch, okay? So now, like we said, upfield number, right? So if I got a receiver, this is something that a quarterback coach taught me when I was a little bit younger and I was struggling with accuracy, like many of you who are watching this video are. So if I got a guy running like a slant, I'm not trying to like lead him I still got to drive the ball. A lot of times what quarterbacks will do is they kind of try to like place it because they're trying to lead the guy, and then they push the ball maybe dies, they're not as accurate. Guys, we still got to drive the ball, but my focus is if he's wearing a jersey, the number on the front of his jersey, that's where I'm trying to drive the ball to. So if I'm in my stance, I'm in my base, I'm thinking I'm driving to the upfield number. I'm there. I'm putting it right on his jersey. And that like mental cue is a very, very easy thing that quarterbacks can do to help them with accuracy. Now, tip number 3, you guys, is going to be something called extension. So we talked about in the very beginning why you want to have your front shoulder open and what your hip rotation can do to help with accuracy. We talked about a mental cue, driving it to the upfield number, but a lot of QBs shoot themselves in the foot because their release is not where it should be. So by extension, I mean this, like let's say I'm throwing over here to the left, right? And let's say my front shoulder's open, I'm thinking upfield number, I stride, stay back. The follow through is the icing on the cake. More specifically, the extension is the icing on the cake. So if my hips rotate through, but my arm just kind of stops, or maybe my arm like bends like this, that's going to affect our accuracy, you guys. So everybody talks about wrist flick, wrist flick. Well, I could flick my wrist right here, and I'm not going to get any accuracy with it. We have to focus on extension. So that means your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder are extended out like you're able to touch the target. I see some quarterback coaches teach guys to like come through and like slap their quad, which I don't think is wrong. That's not the way I throw it personally, but it's mainly for that extension point, right? So guys, you just have to think that your wrist flick should be 6 inches in front of your front stride, elbow, shoulder, that's where we're releasing it. If you could have that extension to that upfield number, have the right mechanics, have your hips leading, we're going to be in a good spot for accuracy. Now, we're going to get into 2 drills that will work on all of those elements that we just discussed. Now, fellas, this first drill that we're going to be discussing is going to be our football front hand towel extension drill. So this works on extension. So guys, honestly, all you need is just like a simple dish towel. You don't need a quarterback towel. If you have a quarterback towel, you could get it, or you get it from our merch store tomorrow. But anyways, you get a towel, a dish towel, quarterback towel, a beach towel, cut it a little bit. Obviously, if it's a beach towel, we don't want this huge towel. Or you could use like a t-shirt, but just something that you could fit into your hand that's about this size. And how you're gonna hold it is you're gonna put your middle finger over the top of the towel and put these 3 fingers underneath the towel to simulate how we want to release the ball and how we want to extend. So the reason why I use the towel is we're not focused on results, we're just focused on form because you're not actually throwing a ball, but we work on our extension. As if you guys don't extend, you don't hear the whip of the towel. But we're gonna be doing throws with it, but if you extend, you hear like a whoosh of the towel. So that's why towel work is great, because it forces us to have to extend. Now, this drill helps quarterbacks who have that elbow pull down. Some guys, like even if they stay open with their front side, they just naturally have a bad habit of when they throw, this elbow pulls down, and that pushes your release high, so you miss high and low. So this football front side drill kind of keeps your hand up by your face, so your release point isn't overly high. It keeps it a little bit more level, and it's easier to extend. So literally, guys, all you're gonna do, you need a football, you need a towel. Football's gonna go in your front hand. So if you're a righty, it's your left hand, right? All you are going to do, stand in front of a mirror, and you're just gonna throw. Okay, so maybe what I would recommend is put like a little sticky note on the mirror, or maybe a small piece of tape so you have something to focus on. But all you're gonna do is hold this in your front hand, you're gonna step into it, and all we're doing is just throwing, but keeping this up by your face. So again, you're set up here, hands in the middle of our chest, nice and open, nice and relaxed. Letting our hips come through and keeping this football by our face and extending and making sure that we can hear the towel. Very easy drill to work on your accuracy. Doesn't require a lot of space, doesn't require a lot of gear, doesn't require a receiver, but it works on our mechanics. And remember, our mechanics is the #1 key to accuracy. Now, fellas, also, if you're a quarterback and you guys would like a 2-month-long training schedule that you can follow, go to that very first link in the description below of this video. You can get our elite quarterback training package. In that package, guys, you're gonna have daily gym workouts and field workouts, all specifically for QBs. So we map it out. Monday, you're doing this in the gym, doing this on the field. Tuesday, this in the gym, this on the field. We give you the exact sets and reps and a video example of each gym exercise and each field drill. So guys, go to that very first link in the description below if you would like to get our elite quarterback training package. Let's get back to this video. All right, fellas, this next drill is going to be called our throw and reset drill to work on QBs who have a wild front side. So same idea. A lot of quarterbacks, just because maybe they lack stability in their front shoulder, even if they they start out open like this and they rotate their shoulders back, they just have this habit of pulling their shoulder this way, which causes a really, really sidearm type motion where you're coming across your body. So this drill, like, kind of physically doesn't let you do that. So we're gonna show it full speed in a second, but I recommend doing maybe about like 15 to 20 reps of this when you're warming up if you have this problem. But you're just gonna face your partner. Partner should be about 10 to 12 yards away. All you're gonna do is you're just gonna stride, go back with your hands. You're gonna release, focusing on your hips coming through. And after you release, extend and follow through, you're gonna flip back. Because if you're one of those guys that has a wild front side, it's gonna be really hard to flip back. So it kind of just helps us be a little bit more controlled with this left side of my body, which plays a major role in accuracy, right? If I dip down, I go high. If I rip open, I go wide. So staying square and staying level and having control right here helps us be a more accurate passer. So we're gonna show you how that should look full speed.